Hello YouTube, how are you? You okay? You doing well? You alright? Good, I'm glad. Now we may continue. This is going to be the first in a series of videos where I'm going to chart my progression to the ultimate goal of ruling the universe with an iron fist. No, the ultimate goal of trying to get my book, Bedtime and Other Tales of Terror, self-published so that people can download it and they can also buy a physical copy of the book. Why am I doing this? Well, it's been an aspiration and a dream of mine for my entire life, and I also thought that it may be of interest to some people. It may also be of interest to people who want to actually buy the book eventually, hopefully, but it may also be of interest to those who are wanting to go down the same route as myself, that they want to go and self-publish or try to start some sort of creative project online and take it to market, so to speak. So that's what these videos are going to be about. If you have subscribed for other videos, don't worry about it, they're coming also. Tomorrow I've got a podcast recording session with Chris. That should be fun as usual, and hopefully that'll be up by the weekend. For those of you who subscribe to more than one of my channels, you may notice that I've uploaded this video to Horror of Mike, Mike Rants and Ghastly Tales. So if you are subscribed to more than one channel, first of all, thanks for doing that, and second of all, I'm really sorry for this video turning up in your subscription feeds where you have to get absolutely pounded into the ground by this ugly mush. But the reason for that is that I do have people that aren't crossed over into each channel, and I want to get these videos out to as many people as possible. So the first thing that I want to talk about in these videos is the topic of crowdfunding. Now, crowdfunding is something that I've just recently started doing. I've got a crowdfunding campaign for the book which is on for 25 days. I'm 3 days into that. And it's something which is pretty controversial in a lot of circles, and it was also something which I didn't enter into lightly. I've already in the space of that few days had some very positive experiences with it and some really negative ones, and I thought maybe that you would be interested to hear about this, especially if you're thinking about going down that route at some point. If you're not aware of what crowdfunding is, it's a system whereby people can put up a project onto a website. It could be any project. It could be like myself, it could be trying to fund the writing of a book, it could be trying to fund the production of a film, of a video game, of a board game, it could be charitable donations for something, it could be setting up a business. Whatever it is, you have a project that you want to bring to market or you want to bring to realization. And what the crowdfunding websites allow people to do is it allows them to be part of the creation of that project by helping fund that project. Now, the best projects don't just say give us your money. What they do is they offer you perks, they offer you something in return. So not only are you buying the ability to invest in someone and their project and feel that you were part of that you got that project happening, but that you also get something more tangible in return. So the perk system could say if you give them $20, they will that counts as a pre-order for the product, whether it be a book or a game or a film or whatever it is. And once the project is finished and the DVD is out or the book is out, that person will then get the copy without having to pay anything else. The perks can go up and up and up. People offer an whole variety of different things to entice people to hopefully invest more in the project, which will allow the people who are running the project to have more resources at their disposal. So this is how it really works. It is about getting crowdfunding, getting a crowd of people to fund something. Yeah, can I be any more patronising? There are a variety of different reasons for why someone might want to go down the crowdfunding route, but the one piece of advice that I would give in my short experience of doing it is that don't enter it lightly. It has to be something that you are willing to commit to. It has to be something that you're willing to absolutely bring to people, because at the end of the day you're taking people's money and you have to make sure that that's actually it's going to happen, you know. And that's one of the main criticisms of crowdfunding, is that there have been projects that have basically been mothballed. Most recently there was a game called, I think it was called Haunts, on Kickstarter that had raised thousands of dollars, and then on their development blog they basically said the project was on, you know, indeterminate hiatus. because they had basically run out of money. They had got all this money and they had spent it, and the game wasn't ready, so they didn't really know what to do. And that's a big issue with crowdfunding. Now in my case, I wanted to do it because there were a lot of things that I needed to pay for to get the book up and running: editing, artwork, proofreading. I wanted to set up a website to promote it, a store. I wanted to also maybe get people to help me format the book for the different ebook distributions and things like that. Because that was one of the biggest problems that I have. There just seems to be so many things to do for self-publishing, and it seems really overwhelming. And it would have made my life a bit easier if I had the money to basically pay other people to do certain aspects of it, and I could just worry about the important part of writing the book. So the other part of it was that, unfortunately, I've been victim of plagiarism recently, where people have been posting my stories and claiming them as their own. And that's pretty heartbreaking, to be perfectly honest. So I've been spending a lot of time chasing these people up and try to say, you know, look, these are my stories, stop putting your name to them. And most people have backed down, but the problem I have is that I really just want to get the book out as soon as possible, but without sacrificing the quality of it. And as most people know, I mean, I'm just being honest about it, is that it's a financial restraint that I have. You know, I have to work. I work like sometimes 12-15 hours a day, and because of that, I don't really have the time to work on the book at the moment. And if I raised enough money, then it would mean that I could cut down my hours at work, and I could put the time needed towards getting it out, hopefully by the end of the year. Another huge consideration for me was the timing of it. This whole thing kind of kicked off without me entirely planning it. I uploaded stories online, thousands of people read them. I was overwhelmed by the response. A lot of people then started asking if I was going to self-publish. A lot of people told me they would buy the book or pre-order the book or even invest in a Kickstarter or a crowdfunding plan. And the problem was that I noticed that my stories were getting to saturation point. People were kind of stopped talking about them. They weren't really spreading them around as much as they had been previously. And I kind of panicked, because I felt like this is my one chance to establish myself in something that I've always wanted to do, which is be a writer. And if the book is published in 8 months, that the interest may have absolutely waned by then. And for that other reason, you know, I was really trying to take in pre-orders so that you know, I could maybe gauge the interest, but also that I could actually get the book done in a shorter time scale than the way it's currently being written. Now, when I said earlier on, don't enter into this sort of thing lightly, one of the main reasons I said that for is that there is a lot of animosity right now towards the idea of crowdfunding, and to be perfectly honest with you, I understand it. And in the space of just my campaign's only 3 days old, and I've had some very positive experiences. For a handful of people invest in the project, I'm so grateful that they've done that. I've raised a little bit of cash for it. At the moment I'm standing at $190, so I'm so grateful that people have really decided to back me that way. But on the other flip side, I've also had some hate mail, and that was quite overwhelming, because I've really had nothing but positivity about my stories online. Like I say, once I originally posted them to No Sleep on Reddit. They were fairly successful there in terms of people reading them, but certainly the comments were almost all positive, and the PMs that I received were all positive. Went to Wattpad, and there it just sort of blew up, get read 160,000 times, all positive comments there. Maybe one or two, a handful of, you know, people just being, you know, you normally get people being trolls online, but apart from that, just overwhelming positive response. And it was really took the wind out of my sails the last few days when I actually received a little bit of hate mail because I'd started a crowdfunding campaign. First of all, there was actually somebody who had specifically said to me, let me know when you put your book up for pre-order, because I'll buy it. But because it was a crowdfunding campaign, even though you can just, you can go for a certain amount and that pre-orders the book, and it would work in exactly the same way as just a normal pre-order, the person was like, kind of, fuck you, don't be sending me stuff about crowdfunding campaigns and all that. And I was really kind of I was quite hurt. It was a kind of weird reaction from someone that had been so positive about it. So they're gone. I definitely think I've lost them as someone who's interested in what I'm doing. And then I also I got some really bad feedback from No Sleep, which is kind of sad to me, because No Sleep is where this all started, and I love No Sleep. It's like a wonderful community where people get to write and put out some really scary stories, and it'll always be somewhere that I'm really, really fond of, and there's some great people there. It was their encouragement that made me post it to other places online. But when I uploaded a page on No Sleep basically saying that I was going to be doing a crowdfunding campaign, and just wow, got quite a lot of hate for it. There were a few people that were really, really nice as well, that were like, screw everybody else, you're doing the right thing. Someone pointed out, which I think was a great example, they said, look, this is no different to someone setting up a music festival. You buy the ticket, you might not go to the music festival for a year, but you buy the ticket, and that's what you've bought. You've invested in it in that way. And they were saying that's all you're doing. And the more people that do that, they were saying, the more independence you get away from record companies, from film studios, from publishers, who have a certain mandate about trying to publish things that are popular, and maybe you'll have more sort of free-flowing ideas and a variety of ideas because of that. So those comments really made me feel better, but the initial response certainly was just, it was just really, really bad on No Sleep. And I certainly don't think I'll be posting anything about it again on there because of that, which let's say is kind of disappointing, because I love that community, and but just it really, really put me off posting anything there about this. So you have to realise that if you're going to do a crowdfunding campaign, there are a lot of people out there who detest the idea of it. They don't differentiate between trying to fund an artistic pursuit or a project via donations, but while giving perks and pre-orders. They don't differentiate that from e-begging. And I've done videos on e-begging before. I've done videos where I said, I think it's pretty shameful. You get some people going, hey, I make videos, you enjoy my videos? Well, give me money. Please sir, can I have some more? And I can understand why people don't like that. It makes me cringe when I see that, but I don't think it's the same thing. And I'm not just saying that because I've started up a crowdfunding campaign, because if you look on my channel, I made a video on Mike Rants maybe a year and a half ago, something like that, about the difference between e-begging and crowdfunding. I think it was on one of the AVGN videos that I made. I think there's a big difference. Now, there are some people who have kicked up fuss about certain individuals doing crowdfunding because they've already got a lot of money, and people are like, why not put your hand in your pocket and just fund it yourself? Like I say, with my project, I'm just not in the situation where I can do that, unfortunately, at the moment. But I can understand why some people are very cynical about individuals who maybe already have, or appear to already have, hundreds of thousands of pounds in the bank, and then they're asking people to fork out money for something. At the same time, I still think that it is worth something for people to feel like they are part of a project, that they have brought something to fruition. And if you go through history, you'll find that there have always been people who have supported other people, or given donations to artists and to engineers and to designers, and they've always done that because they wanted to see that person's work come to fruition. They wanted to feel part of it. And I'm not saying like, hey, I have patrons. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that I think that it's understandably a positive thing for people to feel part of something. And that's one of the reasons, again, for doing a crowdfunding campaign. But I'll do more updates about this I just wanted to share my experiences over the past few days. Some of them were positive, some of them were negative. You know, I don't know if I'll reach my target for my crowdfunding campaign, but what I can say is that if only a small handful of people pre-order or invest in the project, then I'll do something pretty special for those people, because even, like I say, 6 people have put money towards the project at the moment and have pre-ordered, and you know, to me, if it stays at 6 people, those 6 people will get something pretty cool when the book comes out, as far as I'm concerned, because they are awesome, and I won't forget that. But anyway, so crowdfunding, it's a complicated issue, and like I say, be careful with what you're doing. You know, I sent some PMs out on Reddit to certain people who had PM'd me about asking when my stories were out, and I got some negative comments back because I'd said, hey, look, I've got this Indiegogo campaign going, and the thing is, when I did that, I didn't say give me your money. I said, look, if you want to pre-order the book, you can pre-order it through this way, or if you want to contribute, you can. But if you don't, if you want to just help out by sharing the link, that would be great. You know, you could share it on your Facebook or forums. And I even said, look, if you don't want to do any of that, I still really appreciate that you commented on my stories, that you read them in the first place. That means a great deal to me anyway. But some people still were really, really offended by me contacting them, even though they'd already contacted me. It was a strange situation. But like I say, crowdfunding is not going to be for everyone. I think there are people who take advantage of it. I think there's no doubt about that. I would never have done it if I didn't think it was something that was absolutely 100% going to come to fruition. I've already written over half of the book, so it's already almost there. The stories that I haven't written, because it's a collection of stories, those stories have already all been planned out. So it's not like I'm you know, I don't know what these stories are going to be. I've even put out a synopsis about all the different stories that are going to be in the book. So I know for a fact it's going to happen. As I said earlier in this video, there are certain reasons why I'm trying to crowdfund, and those reasons, like I say, are trying to establish myself, try to get the book out quickly while interest is there, and also trying to combat the fact that I've been plagiarised a little bit, and just get the book out. That's my main thing. So if you're thinking of doing a crowdfunding campaign, there are a variety of different websites to do it. They all have different ways of doing it. I chose Indiegogo, but Kickstarter is probably the most popular one. Indiegogo lets you do flexible funding, which means that even if you don't hit your target, you still receive the money from the donators. And the reason that I chose that is because even if I raise a little bit of money, it will still go towards, you know, giving those people the books, and the other perks, and it will still go towards maybe freeing up a little bit of time for me to get the book done, or pay for some of the things. Because, you know, I've got friends who are helping me out with certain aspects of the book, like my friend Alan did a fantastic cover for the book already, but you know, there are other things that I need done, and even with artwork, with Alan doing that, I don't want to ask him to spend weeks working on something for free. You know, it doesn't sit comfortably with me, but I just don't have the money to pay people, and like I say, this campaign is to help me do that. But I'm not just asking for money. I'm saying, here, if you donate money for this, if you donate this amount, you'll get this in return. So to me, I don't think there's an awful lot wrong with that. I don't think that it's e-begging or anything like that. But I would like to hear your thoughts. If you think that it is, I'd love to debate it with you. I won't get hurt, I promise. But if you are interested in the campaign that I've ran, either because you want to contribute to it, or you are just interested in it, I'll leave a link to it down below. And like I say, anybody that wants to help out in any way, whether it's sharing the link or pre-ordering the book or donating anything, that really is much appreciated, and it will hopefully get me to where I want to be. But if you don't worry about it, because there's no obligation. I nearly said no obligation to buy, which makes me sound like a car salesman. So anyway, hope you're all doing well. I'll be back hopefully tomorrow or the next day with a podcast with Chris, and we'll be getting some other rant videos and stuff like that, because I want to talk about the American election. But I'll also be back with a whole bunch of videos about this as well. So stay tuned. Bye for now.